Hello everyone and welcome to Excited Nuclear channel. So today we are going to see about object-oriented programming in Python, and also we are going to see basically why we need classes. So as you can see in the example that we have created two you can say two students with the name student one name Rahul and student two name Anita, and respective there will be the names or you can say the marks for them. Now what we want to do is, let's say we have just give me a second. I believe it was stuck. Yeah, it's good now. So let's start. So this works, but what if we have 100 students with us? Now, let's say, let's say we have a students, something like this. Let's say if we have to copy these students for n times, right? And n times, I will say that every time the is going to increase and increase and increase. Now here you can see that we got more than you can say 10 variables here, and the records that we saved in these 10 variable are nothing more than the 6 students. Let's say here we change the name Rahul. Let's say for right now, let's use this random names. Of course, it's something that should not be here, but whatever, we can just simply change the values a little bit. Okay, as you can see, when I am basically copying this name and marks, we are actually creating some, you can say every time we are creating some new variables, and it is just getting more and more chaos of the variable, too many variables, and there is no structure, as well as they are hard to manage. So that's why we introduce the concept that we known as classes, or you can say what if we could group this data. That means what if we could group this whole data into something that makes us easy to you can say organize this data as well as group this data and behavior together. And for that, basically what we need is we need a better way to organize this. So here what we have is uh, a class. So you can think of class as a, you can say, group, right? So this group is going to hold the basic structure as well as the basic, you can say, information based on the all the attributes that we are doing. And the class is actually created, this basically the class is actually created by calling the class variable here. Let me just so before that, why not we just start with, mm, as you can see, the structure here is basically creating a some kind of confusion here, because we are actually you can say repeating some value here, and the variables are also not defined. Now the solution, of course, I have told you, and that is class. So what we can do here is that we can simply create an empty class here, and this class that I have created student is empty. Why empty? Because we have put a pass statement in it. Basically, it does not have any kind of code. But what we can do is we can create a student S1 here by simply calling this student here, and this S1 is actually an instance of this class student. So basically, what it says, what happening here is that this S1 is inheriting every property of this class. So of course, it's a more technical term, but don't you can say don't. I will say do not think much of about it right now. Just think of it like something like okay, this S1 belongs to this class student. So I hope this class is clear to everyone. As you can see, when we try to run our code here, what we get is we get a student, basically an object of the student, you can say class. And here, as you can see, we got our main object, and object is basically located in the location this. So with this, I believe everything should have cleared by now that how we create an object, and how to basically view or how to basically develop the intuition of an object. Now, what we can do is we can simply add init function into it, define underscore init. So of course, I am going to explain this init function in the next video. But for now, just think of it like this, like a function. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to create the same structure as above. But right now, what I am going to do is, first of all, I am going to pass a self argument. So this self argument help us. Maybe that will be covered later, of course. First of all, let me write this so that it become easy for everyone. Yeah. So here the name self dot name is equal to name, self dot marks is equal to marks. So as you can see, we have created a class. In this class, we have two things, and that is name and marks. So what is happening here is that you can think of it like a function in the intuition of a function that okay, let's say we have a class of student, right? And it takes two argument, and these two arguments are nothing but just names and marks. Now in the name, let us say we are passing Rahul and Anita. So for the first name, we are say Rahul, and his marks for our statement is 85, right? So when I type 85 here, as well as in the same format, we are going to enter the entry for Anita and its marks or her marks, and that is 92. Now when I run this program, what happened is that okay, still not visible yet, but the real student. But what is happening in this? In this case, what is happening is we are creating actually the data itself. Now, of course, when I run this right now, it only shows the location. But what we can do is we can say, okay, S1 dot. When I put a dot here, or you can say a decimal, or you can whatever you are saying that I will say a dot. So it appears that okay, it have two properties associated with it. First is marks, and the other is name. Now let's say for now I want to print the name first, and then S1 dot marks. Now in the similar way, what I want to do is I want to do the same for S2 this time. So of course you must have predicted that okay, this should give us the name and the marks of the student. So here you can see that this class can be used multiple times. As you can see, we have created this class only once, and the same thing can be repeated n times. And we are basically creating the objects using this class. and this object basically helping us, you can say, structure our data more clearly, as well as we are defining the behavior of how this data is going to be stored in our file or anywhere. So that is what happening. Now let us add an important update in it, and that is behavior, adding a behavior to this class. And that can be done is by defining a function inside a class. Let's say for now I will say, okay, uh, display the students here, and this display is going to take the self argument. And first of all, let me just write everything here. So name, and here we are going to pass self dot name. Now copying the same thing below, and let's put the marks here. Now what will happen is, right now we don't need to actually use this print statement anymore. Why I am saying that? You can simply say, okay, we have created a student here, that means, or let me just put a comment here so that everything becomes clear when you see the code. So here we are creating students using the class student, or here students are nothing but objects of the class. So this is what is happening. Now here we are defining the different, what they say, different behavior of student class. So this behavior is nothing but just a function. Now we have created a function display, right? So what we can do is we can just simply say s1 dot, and if we say display. Now this display function is called the same way as we have calling the function previously, but this time we are just going to run this whole code, and we get the name for the student 1 as well as the name for the student 2 and their respective marks as well as. Now what is happening here? We haven't called any kind of print statement, but still it is returning us the output. So here what is happening is we have created a student. Now this S1 holds all the properties of this class student. That means the same thing that we have to repeat n times, here we can skip all that part and just simply create students, and we can also create different type of behavior that S1 object or S2 object is going to, you can say, repeat, and also it is going to be uh, very helpful for us in the future. Now what is the main difference between the previous and this time? Now to show you the previous and this time, let me just add a comment to this file so that it becomes quite clear to everyone. As you can see, without class, we have a very messy as well as the repetitive code, as you have seen above. Now let's say for a while think that what if we want to print every student name and marks in the same format as here. So that means for every student variable as well as the student marks variable, we have to write a print statement, and that is quite tiring as well as repetitive. Now with the class, you just have to write everything once, and everything is basically ready for you to use, as well as organized in an organized manner, as well as it is clean. Of course it is clean after you get the main understanding behind what our class is. Of course this video is only for when to use classes and why we need that. Also what we can do is we can simply create student list also in a format like, if I say students is equal to a list, right? And in the list we are going to say student, and in the student we are going to say first of all Anita, her marks, let's say again call the student, or maybe we can just copy and paste it every time, right? So here now let's say next student is Rahul, and his marks is 87, as well as the next student is me. Of course I get the full marks. Of course I am the editor of this video, so that's why I will get full marks. Uh, and at last what we can do is we can use a for loop, and we can say okay, for I in students we can say I dot display, and when we run this program we actually printed every student that we have added to the students list. That means in just a simple line, we have created n students here without any further repetition. And also for the printing of the students part, we have actually used a simple for loop to display, right? So let's say what we have actually concluded from this video. Okay, so here in this video, what we concluded is that whenever we are not using some kind of, you can say, special structures, or you can say special classes, we have a very messy as well as very uncleaned as well as very unorganized type of code in which we have to create n variables, and these variables are of course going to be the storage, you can say, hungry, as well as it is going to be inefficient for your coding purpose in the future. Now, and of course if you want to basically mm, 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 of course I am going to explain the different part of students class, different type different parts of this class here that I have written in our next video. But for now, what we have done is we have done basically where to use the oops and what are the basic needs for us to use the oops in the Python. So with that, let us wrap up this video, and let's meet in the next video of this channel. And until then, if you like this video, please subscribe. Please share your doubt about that. And of course, there might be some kind of lag in the previous days. Yeah, I have, you can say, skipped 2 days without uploading any kind of video. There is some kind of issue going on with my, you can say, some laptops and all in personal life too. So that's all. So with that, let's meet in the next video. Thank you.